इस इंट्रो को मैं बहुत बाद में शूट कर रहा हूँ, मतलब हफ्ते हो चुके हैं इस बात को। मैं इस सोच रहा था कि मैं इस वीडियो को ना डालूं, बट फिर मेरे को लगा कि ये वीडियो डालनी चाहिए, क्योंकि एक एक ऐसा चीज़ जो मेरे को काफ़ी ज़्यादा रियलाइज़ हो रही है आजकल, कि जो फ्रेशर्स हैं, जो अभी स्टार्ट ही कर रहे हैं, वेब डेवलपमेंट स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, वो इंटरव्यूज़ देना स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं। उनसे मेरी रिक्वेस्ट यही रहेगी, प्लीज़ 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 अभी फोकस करिए अपनी डेवलपमेंट पे। 1 साल 2 साल अपना देखिए क्या होती है कोडिंग, क्यों होती है कोडिंग, तब जाके मॉक इंटरव्यूज़ दीजिए। इसमें आज की जो वीडियो है, मैं चाहूँगा कि इसमें मैं मॉक इंटरव्यू वाला पार्ट ज़्यादा कर काट दूँ। मोस्टली मैं वो वाला पार्ट रखूँगा जिसमें हमने डिस्कशन किया है कि क्यों आपको नहीं करना चाहिए, क्यों आपको मॉक इंटरव्यू क्यों नहीं देना चाहिए अगर आप अभी स्टार्ट ही करे हो। मैं ज़रूर का चाहूँगा कि आप इस वीडियो को पूरा देखें, एंड में ज़रूर देखें, एंड का पार्ट जो होता है। तो हाँ, अब क्या ही बोल सकता हूँ, इस वीडियो को ज़रूर देखना, ये बहुत ही इमोशनल होने वाली है वीडियो।
I worked in my father's business for 2 years, and 2 months ago, I left the business in order to get a job in front-end development. I have an MBA degree from Vishwavishwani School of Business, and also a bachelor's degree in computer systems and engineering from Loyola Academy, UG and PG College. Both the colleges are located in Hyderabad, and I am into web development since from the last 8 months, seriously. And since I do not have any work experience, there is nothing much to tell about myself. And apart from that, my hobbies are simple: watching Netflix interesting series, and also finding new courses on web development. Finding new courses is nothing but getting their idea, how they are coding, something like that. And so to understand how they are coding. So yeah, that's it about myself, sir.
That was a very good uh, introduction, I must say that. Okay, so you said you have worked in your family business, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what made you choose IT as your career now? So what made you left that business and choose IT over that?
It is first of all, I must say it is because of pandemic. And after completing my graduation in 2020, I have to do something, and that was a peak lockdown moment. And I don't know what to do, and I have joined MBA. And after that, after completing MBA, I immediately just joined my father's company, and I got into web development because of Inspect Element. We see it on the websites, right?
Yeah.
So now, when I got my first computer, I was in first year of my college graduation. I was just scrolling some websites, and I somehow right clicked on that, and I can see there's an inspect. So I clicked on that, and somehow I changed some text on the screen. And I thought, this is how websites are created. And I don't know, there is HTML, there is CSS, there is JavaScript, and I don't know at that time. I just, this is how websites are created. So I searched it on YouTube, and later I find that there is much more to learn about web development. And after that, I didn't look back. So it might be another tech, uh, let's say Android development, Android app development, but somehow I hooked to the web development, and that's how I ended here.
Yeah, really good, really good. That's really impressive. And that is what I call interest is. That's what interest is called. So if any viewer is wondering what interest is, that is what interest is. Okay, so you have interest in web development. It's been just 8 months, right? And you have already completed React.js, is it?
React.js, I'm halfway through it. I can say I'm at 80%. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I can say 8. But from the past interview experiences, I must say I'm at level 6.
Okay, so you have interview experiences, right? So it's like a real
Only
interview
one,
or
yeah.
mock?
It's a real interview. It was a real interview. This is my second React.js interview.
Got it. Because in this we'll be doing live coding, so that's why I was asking. Cool. So let's jump to the question then. You can share your screen. Yeah. So can you just go to that SRC folder on the left side?
Yes,
Now click on
SRC and
app for app file. Click on this. Okay.
TSX.
So see, we have an API called
Yes, sir.
this photos album URL. You can just copy this and paste it into your Visual Studio. Okay.
Yes, sir. Right.
So in this API, we have a response of array. Okay. Each response has a JSON in which you will see some album IDs, some thumbnail. All right. So
Yes, sir.
have you ever used Google Photos?
Google Photos on the mobile level, I have used it,
Any
but
gallery, any photos, anything. Okay. You must have used
yeah,
in
yeah,
your
I have
mobile,
used it.
in your
Yes,
smartphone. Okay. So you have to implement something like that. So if we have albums, you have to first render albums. Then on clicking that album, you have to show the images linked to those albums. Okay.
image links.
Yeah. I will just show you that. Yeah. So you can just copy this URL and paste it into your browser. Then copy the URL only.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Open it in your browser.
In order to use the API, we need to study the API first.
Very well. Yeah. So yeah, you can see the response, right? So we have album ID, we have ID, we have URL, we have thumbnail URL. So what you need to do is you need to first render the albums, okay, based on their ID. For example, 1, 2, there are a couple of albums like that, okay. Then when you click on those albums, you have to show these these thumbnail URL, okay, on the screen.
On the screen, okay.
So for example, if I click album ID 1, okay, then we'll be rendering all the images linked to album ID 1.
Okay, so yeah, I got it. Yeah.
There's one more point. So you have to render thumbnail URL, but on clicking that image, you have to show a modal which will render the URL image.
Okay. Yeah, I have to fetch images. That's it, right? And if I click on particular album, I need to fetch only those album images, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And first I have to show only thumbnail URL.
Yeah.
And when I click on that thumbnail URL, I need to show the real URL.
Real image over to that page, okay? So basically like a modal you must have seen.
Okay, so yeah.
Which pops up the image, right? So that's how we want to, I want you to do that.
Okay.
Have you understood? So it's very simple. You have to render the albums. On clicking each album, we'll be showing the photos linked to those albums. And on clicking any photo of that album, we will just pop that photo on the screen. Just like Google Photos.
Yeah, thumbnail is just a URL, and I don't need to show any, image. Only after clicking that thumbnail, I have to show the image.
No. For image, for albums, there is no image, okay? After clicking album,
I got it, sir.
After clicking album, you have to click this thumbnail. Thumbnail is basically like a small version of that real image, okay? On clicking that image, you can render that full image, that URL, okay?
Okay, sir.
That's it.
Yeah. Shall I start it?
Yep, please. So it's 4 o'clock. We'll be doing this. We'll be doing this till 4:50 or 4:45. That's it. Mostly you will get 45 minutes only. Okay.
Yes, sir. First, I'm running an empty project.
Meanwhile, you can just code.
It is just to show whether the project is working. Okay, working. Let me come back. So first of all, I have an URL. I'm storing it under URL variable. The mouse string. So let me write steps first. Then I'll start coding.
Okay,
yeah. Step 0.
I'm very impressed, by the way you talk, the way you express everything. Even in the Google form, you had mentioned in detail. That's why I selected you.
Thank you,
Everything
sir.
was in
Thank you.
very detail.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yeah, the step 1 is nothing but I use coding terms, so that's why step 0. I need to have the URL. Then with the URL, I need to just grab the details, I mean the data. So fetch using use effect.
Hmm.
So in the JavaScript, we can just directly fetch the from API. But in order to fetch in React, we need to use effect because it has a side effect. So that's why
Right.
we need to use
Okay,
effect.
you can do one thing. Instead of
Yeah.
writing everything in comments, you can just code it and then explain me uh, along the way. Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
Otherwise, it will take so much time.
Yes, yes, sir. That's right. It will take 2 parameters. I mean, first one is function, an empty function, and any dependency arrays. So I'm leaving it as an empty array. So it will run only for one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just use fetch. And I need to give URL. So since I have used URL, since it is a promise, I need to use .then .catch. .then is nothing but to store the result. .catch is nothing but if we get any error while fetching the URL, we need to show to the user something like that.
Do you really have 8 months of experience in web development?
Why, sir?
Doesn't
I'm
look
sorry.
like.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Actually, yeah, I have gotten tips. I have got tips from various YouTube channels. I have
okay.
to explain while writing my code, so that's why.
Yeah, even the knowledge you have as a 8 months of 8 months into web development only, it's like
I'll take
I
that
don't have
as a
words
compliment.
actually.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
that's a compliment.
Then I get a response. Usually, whenever I work with APIs, it will return me a JSON format data. But since it is an array, I have to convert it to JSON. I don't know if that is possible or not, sir, but I'm trying that. Maybe I need some help here.
You have to do JSON and then you have to call that. Now, after
Yes.
that, you will get a function. So basically, fetch returns us data in some kind of chunks, you can say. Okay,
Yes.
exact term, even I don't know. So you can Google it after this. So it's kind
Uh-huh.
of chunks. You have to convert it into some data structure that we can use. Okay, so that's what
Yes, sir.
this does. This .json. So it was right. Why are you just removing it? It was correct.
Yes, sir. And .catch in order to.
No. You have to use .then again.
Yeah. First, I got the raw data,
Hmm.
and then I have to store it. Maybe. Let me just implement empty array. This,
So you are not going to
so-
use state, is it?
oh, yes, sir. I'm very sorry for that.
And even
Actually, yeah. I need to put that inside that function. I'm sorry,
yeah.
sir. I'm sorry. Result. And I must give an empty array initially. So result is going to store under result. So I got the data in the result form, and then I have to use catch now.
You can avoid cache for now. Just remove it, okay? We know the API will be
Yes, sir.
returning us data, okay?
So yeah. First, let me try. Let me just try to console it first, whether I'm getting the data or not, to make sure, sir.
Actually, you have to use set result.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. So maybe that's what nervousness does to my mind.
I can see that.
Result is equal to set result dot trace. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the input. Actually, I got some error, but I have received so many.
Yep, you have received the data.
Yes. Do I need to show all the albums, or just up to 10, something like that?
You can show all the albums.
Okay, yeah, since I got the data, let me just go back to this. I got the data, and then I'm going to use map function. So it will have an element, and also I need to use key in order to render it perfectly. So I'm going to use ID of that. Yeah, we have unique ID. So it is recommended to use unique ID rather than index, because indexes may be changed later in time. Here, E is equal to ID. Sorry, element dot ID. Element dot ID. Yes. Yeah. I'm fetching albums here, so I don't need to use ID as well. Element dot, the unit is
I think the unique is album ID instead of ID.
sir.
The unique key is album ID, not ID.
I can see album ID is one in every album, sir.
But you
Can you
have
able to
to
see my screen?
render albums only now.
Oh,
Getting my point?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha, let's go ahead
Yeah,
with your
yeah.
approach.
Yeah. I got it. So with the album ID, we have let's say we have three, four. I mean, we have 20 objects, I think. Yeah. Album. Yeah. Camel case. Yes. And not. So, sir, here I have one doubt.
Yep.
So, if there is album 1, I need to show only album 1. So I cannot re-render all this album
Yeah,
1, album.
exactly.
So yes, sir. So for that I can do with the album ID. I have 20 to 30, but how can I store them album ID in one div, one array? I think.
And this is the main problem, and this is what you need to solve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it. First, whenever I find whenever I face such problems, I need to break down into smaller problems. So here, what I can do, I can use another array in order to store. If album ID is 1, I have to store all them in an array. And similarly for the second one, third one, and so on. So let me just try it, sir. So function separating album. So I got the result array dot. I can filter. So I will get an item. So it will return an array when the statement is true. So I need to get if I write only album 1, I will return it as only album 1. For that,
I think you are trying to use reduce. Have you ever used reduce?
I
I
have used it. Yeah, I have used it, but somehow I forgot. Right now,
it's very
my
complicated. Even the senior people can't remember it.
so
Okay, maybe you can try iterating through each object and then storing them into a JSON maybe.
yeah, yes, sir. That's what I'm trying to do. But if I set that statement as album ID is equal to 1, I only get album ID array. I mean album ID which is 1. I only get that array, but I need to get 2 as well. For that, maybe I can run. So here I can pass an argument string. So since I have album 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it will take yes, sir. Yeah, let me just proceed with this. Maybe I'll get idea on the way.
I think you can't use filter for this feature. I'm not sure how are you thinking to use filter for this.
So result, yeah, I got the result as in form of an array only.
You don't have to filter anything.
Okay, so
You have to create a new data based on the existing data. Nothing like that.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not getting it right now.
It's very simple, to be honest. You can just create two more states, use state, and in one state you will be having a JSON in which key will be album ID, and the value will be the array of all the photos. And then you can actually use that JSON only. And then while rendering albums, you can just render their keys to show the album IDs. And on clicking that key, you can just render the value of that key. That's it.
Still I'm not getting it, sir.
Have you ever used JSON?
Yes, sir. Yeah, of course.
So it's like that only. In that JSON, the key will be the album ID. The value will be the photos of that album. Issue is very simple. You are rendering the data from result, but result is the raw data that we got from the API, right? We have to
Yes, sir. Yes.
manipulate it. To manipulate it, we need another data structure, which can be a JSON. Okay. Now, what JSON is? JSON stores a key value pair, right?
Yes, sir. Like object, but it has both string. I mean, key is a string, value is a string.
Not exactly. Value can be anything actually.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in the value part, you can store all the photos using an array, and then you can just render them. That's it. So simple. I've just told you the whole solution.
Yes, sir. But yeah, let me just try it, sir. I need to pass a key as album. So here I have to store all the album IDs inside the key.
What have you done this? This is okay. This is string. This is array. Oops. I think I was so quick to appreciate you.
Maybe
I
this
thought
is also an.
I thought you would do it very easily. I don't think what is the problem here. This is very simple, yeah.
That might be simple, sir, but while I was just a little nervousness. Otherwise, my brain would work excellent if I said.
ठीक है. You can think about this. Say you have to use some data structure by which you can render some albums, and on clicking those albums, you can render the values of those albums. So just think like that.
Somehow my brain just stopped working. I'm sorry, sir. I don't want to waste your time, but can you give me another question?
Actually, I prepared this question only for you for React.js.
Yes, sir. What can I do? So I need to have album 1, album 2, album 3. In order to, if I click on that, it to show all the available. So can I use ChatGPT? I'm sorry, but that's how I find solutions to my coding.
Nope, you obviously can't use ChatGPT.
Yes, sir.
Yep. You can stop sharing your screen also.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Okay. So, if I talk about communication skills, it's very good, of course. Okay. Plus point for that. But if I talk about the technical skills, I think it's really very early for you to give interviews. Okay. I would say rather focusing on interviews, first focus on your basics, how programming works, what data structures are, what algorithms are. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
then you can prepare for interviews. So here's my view. The interviews are a different world, is a different world. Okay, interview is a different world, and the real world development is a different world. Okay, so first focus on that real world development. Learn what coding is. You are just started, bro. Yeah, it's been 8 months only. It's okay. First, learn what are the basics, what are the data structures, learn about the algorithms. You must have heard about DSA, right?
Yes,
Go
sir.
and check it out. This is why you need DSA. Okay. The problem that you were resolving could have been resolved earlier if you knew DSA. This is
Yeah.
why people say you need to learn DSA. This is why people ask DSA in interviews. Okay. So this is problem solving skills.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Huh. Now, do you use any platform or something to enhance your problem solving skills?
Currently, I do not use any of them, but I know Lead Code.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing it, you have to practice also. So just go there, do the questions, do everything. Once you are done with that, you will obviously be able to crack these questions. This was very straightforward question. For a 8 month experience, even for a, I would say it would be early for 8 months experience, but even for 1 year experience guy, this could have been very easy. Okay, but it's like your first time, right? In coding and everything. So it's really, really very early. For everyone, I'm saying this, not just for you. If you're just starting in the coding, don't focus on giving interviews. Okay. It's been 8 months only and you are just giving then you're just giving interview. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that may look that may sound harsh to you, but yeah, I would say please don't go and attend interviews. They are a really different world. If you need to really grow in this field, first grow your basics. Then you can obviously go and do the interviews, basically give the interviews. Okay. So it's really very early, I would say. Even I've taken one more interview. Oh, that guy was also 8 months experience. So even to that guy, I said it's really very early. Please focus on programming skills, programming basics. And in today's interview, first I thought that you would be able to complete this by very easily. Okay. That's why I said ki it doesn't look like you are 8 months. You have just started and you have 8 months of total programming experience. But uh, what can we do then? uh,
Yeah, nothing.
it
Yeah,
just
nothing is
went
harsh to
in the
me,
wrong
sir.
direction.
Yeah, nothing
Okay.
is harsh to me. In the last interview, I failed. They asked me about context API in the last interview.
Uh-huh.
So I failed in that. So he has given me feedback, and I took it
See,
that feedback. And the next interview, I have prepared context API for this interview, and I
this
know
is
that.
this
So
is
I
really
have,
very great.
yeah,
But
I have.
let me tell you one point. In real development, we are not going to use context API. Okay? Even if you are able to crack an interview, okay, because you have watched 5 to 10 interviews, or you have given 10 to 20 interviews. Okay. Once you get selected, once you get into a job, you will have to do the real development. Okay? That's a different area. Okay. You will have to solve problems. You will have to debug problems. You will face real world problems. Okay. You will have to create real softwares. When you get into that, your manager, your seniors will see that you are not able to do that. Then obviously they will unfortunately fire you, obviously. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying don't just focus on interviews. First focus on your basics. Okay. Cracking an interview is itself an achievement, I know, but staying in that job for the long term will be based on how you know the basics, on how well you can develop everything, right? Even if you know everything, you can not crack interviews. Okay. But if you know only the interview terms, that is context API, that is some other another thing. Okay. So even if then you crack interviews, then you won't be able to grow in the IT career because you don't have the experience of development. Okay. So this is why I'm saying I would say go for the basics, learn what programming is, why we are doing this, what JavaScript does, what HTML does. I can see hunger in you. Okay. So I would say first focus on everything. Okay. And then do the interviews. Okay. I would say for 1 year, not 1 year, maybe for the next 6 months, focus on these. Then maybe you can do the mock interviews. Okay. Your interviews are like really different world in IT sector, especially. You must have heard of it also. You must have seen many memes also for that. Okay. So plus
Yes,
point
sir.
is you are serious, very serious. This is like I can see the hunger, I can see the interest. So if you go and dive deeper into the basics and everything, I'm pretty much sure that you will be able to crack everything. One more thing, one more point. So you know, like in theoretically, I'm getting this feeling. Okay, so theoretical part. Okay, because you have seen interviews. For
Yes, sir.
example, you were saying ki we don't use keys because it's not a good practice. Sorry, we don't use index as a key because it's not a good practice, right? So you know the theoretical part. Okay? But what I felt is you know that theoretical part because you have seen interviews or you have given interviews, right? But the actual work or actual behind the scene, why don't we use key? Why we use key and why don't we use index as a key? Is different world. Have you ever heard about React reconciliation?
It's about DOM, right, sir? I mean,
Yeah,
virtual
exactly.
DOM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I have. Yeah, I have heard of it.
So you have what? You have heard
Nothing, sir.
about
Nothing.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a diffing algorithm, there is React reconciliation. So if you know about it, very, very well and good. So this is why we use key prop. So you basically explain React reconciliation and then you explain diffing algorithm. Okay. So these are the parts that you must know. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
okay.
I know.
Any question you have?
Nothing, sir. Thank you so much for the feedback. Even I have been told by other interviewer, I mean, the person who has taken interview on the other day, he has told me the same thing. Your theory knowledge is good, but you need to have practice. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's actually true.
Yeah, means a lot. And I think uh the MBA, the bachelor's degree has a big part in this. The communication skills you have, they play a big part, I think, because of that MBA or something. I don't know. You know how to attract people, basically how to communicate with people, how to better explain things. So these are the skills you already have, and that are very important to grow as in a career. So I must
Thank you.
say that you are very good in that. So you just need some technical basics knowledge, that's it, and you will be well and good. You will be obviously growing in your career. Even for the 8 months experience, this was too much in my opinion. Okay, so maybe I felt like that because you have watched so many interviews that you know what interviewer ask and how you respond, maybe for that. But this is what I felt. Okay, cool. And then if you don't have any question, we can just wrap up.
Yeah, just one more question. Uh, will I get chance to attend this interview again? I mean, in future.
Yeah, obviously, if the series continues, obviously, if it doesn't continue, then what we can say.
Yeah, please do continue, sir, because
uh,
this may help a lot of people.
yep.